listening to AchieveRadio.com. A new drummer for a new awakening.
Hi, this is Anne Marie, and I am wearing braids today. I just want to say that I am so happy to be here today. I feel like I've been away from an old friend. Been doing the Zoom, getting YouTubes and guests and spiritual people from all over the world and doing those kind of interviews. But today I just wanted to be with my old friends and do things in a live way again. So, hi, Patrick and Rebecca. I am so happy to see you. If anyone else wants to have a live reading, all you have to do is call 602 666 6027, or just go to Achieve Studio A or Studio or Achieve Video Live, and you'll be able to watch and in quick your question. I welcome it. So, one of the things I can't do at Zoom is be able to have those live readings. And it's a thrill for me to see Patrick and Rebecca here today. One of the things I wanted to do today was kind of get in the mood of Halloween and October and discuss, palm reading, how to be a hit at a palm at a party or a gathering where you may be invited. And it's so easy because all you have to do with a few beginning skills is just say, may I read your palm? And I tell you what, the minute you start one, there'll be another hand and another hand and another hand. So make sure you have your sanitizer. And also, for effect, a lot of people like to spray a mixture of water and lavender together and just do a fine mist on the hand before you start reading. And it kind of clears the energy, and it also just smells good and relaxes whoever you're with. I just got through doing the Renaissance Fair, and oh my goodness, I worked from 10:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night, and no breaks. We kind of smashed food into our mouths as fast as we could, but there is definitely a new spiritual awakening. I know that there has been for a long time, but I mean, people are so much less afraid of readings and palm reading. And I think that now people realize that to be an intuitive is not to be a witch. It's not to be a bad person. It's not even to be anti-Christian. You can be Christian. You can be whatever you want. You can be with angels, and it's all good. So the main thing is that whenever you read or you give readings or you get a reading, make sure that you know the energy of the person and kind of get a feel for them. Are they laid back? Are they a good person? Or are they filled with attitude and, oh my goodness, I'm so much better than you? Or are they just kind of dark, a dark energy of spooky? It's all good, guys. It's all good. So, one of the things I wanted to discuss today is what is spiritualism now that there is this big awakening, and I mean more than there has been from the term light workers, which I consider myself to be. Um, the spiritual movement has gone so much further than, and I say this because I had to laugh. I was looking at the terms for spiritualism and how to tell you what it means in on the internet, and the things they were saying were so strange. It was like, oh, people that believe that the dead are coming to talk to them. And I thought, no, that's the old seance spiritualism. Spiritualism is taking a whole different meaning in today. I believe that perhaps Europe has been longer in this than we have, in the fact that we in America place a great deal of power in the labels of religion. Um, there was a day when, just like politics is today, being a Democrat or Republican, what religion you were defined how people would think about you. Were you Catholic? Were you Lutheran? Were you Methodist? Were you Jewish? Were you Hindu? People wanted to know because then they could put this big label on you, or and it was the first thing in the old days people used to ask. So what religion are you? And interestingly, no one asks me that anymore. I do once in a while have to remind people that I am a non-denominational spiritualist. And what that means is that I no longer confine myself to a label. That means that I am basically Christian, but I am not Methodist or Lutheran or Catholic. I am a person who believes in God, who believes in an afterlife. I do not define that what that afterlife is, because I also believe in Buddhism and Hinduism that says that um, there could be, you know, what what some people would call the void, which is the everything. Many Christians would say that that is God. God is everything. Or maybe it's you're reaching out to loved ones so that you can go into another life and another life and another life, which is one of my guests defined, is that happens when you reach for the hands of the ones from your family that come to greet you when you pass on. You can go with them into the light, or you can choose to go into the void, which is the everything of God. And everything is not scary. It just means that you choose to not go into past life or future lives. You choose to be a part of all of Spirit and God. Um, there are many different ways to look at things. Excuse me. So, I wanted to say also, what is an angel messenger? An angel messenger is an important role for all people because you're either walking with purity and angels, and please know I define angels as enlightened beings of high frequency, so pure that we can't even see them. And no, I don't believe they need names. I believe we can name our angels, and that's just fine. They don't need us to name them. They just are our guardians, our enlightened purities of energy, and some would say they're even our higher self. So An angel messenger is an important role. Angel messengers are the middle ground between angels and humanity. So, in a literal sense, they are the messengers of the angels, much in the same way that the angels themselves are the messengers of God and Spirit. So, angel messengers are humans, the same as everyone else, but they have spent much of their life growing, developing, expanding their spirituality to the point that they can kind of bask in the energy of the angels. Angel messengers are in regular contact with their angels, as you are, as we all are, and are always searching for new ways to improve the spirituality of the world. So, an angel messenger can be someone that gives you an angel reading, or perhaps an angel messenger is that beautiful person you know that does something for the city, or that does something for animals, or does something that contributes to humanity. Sometimes they will be given tasks by their angels to spread positive energy and guidance to all those around them. And other times they will follow their intuition and simply help those who ask for it, much like many readers and angel messengers that are on Achieve or that you may go to for a reading. So, that is the main thing that an angel messenger is. Um, are you a messenger? Are you an angel messenger? Well, let's look into that, okay? Anyone can become a guardian angel messenger, and you may already be one and not realize it. If you want to become one or want to know it, and if you are one, there are some common signs that indicate your status or role as an angel messenger. People will feel drawn to positive energy that radiates from you. So you'll keep your heart and soul open to all those who would seek out your guidance and your knowledge. Maybe you meditate often. And meditation is one of those things that can be confusing for people. It's not just about sitting cross-legged and watching a candle and going blank. I believe meditation is just when you are one, let's say after work, kick off your shoes. Um, you just go into a state of not thinking. And sure, maybe there's a television there, or maybe there's music there. But it's a way to contribute to the state of going within, because that's what meditation is, going within yourself. Some people use healing crystals or healing stones. Please remember, crystals are not the only thing that heal people. One of my guests, an old Navajo chief that was on Achieve many years ago, said that when you take a walk, and the Navajo take a walk, and they see a rock on the ground that calls to them, they pick it up and they put it in their pocket because that's an ancestor speaking to them. Rocks are as old as the earth, right? So when you feel drawn to a rock, each rock will have a different frequency for you, just as crystals. Sometimes you're walking in a state of meditation. You don't have to be sitting cross-legged. You may just find that when you put yourself in a state of calm and you walk in a state of meditation, you may find that you're asking your guides and angels to direct you to any messages or symbols that they want you to tune into. For instance, let's say you go a certain direction and gosh, you all of a sudden bump into someone that was an old friend. Hadn't seen them since work or since many years ago. Maybe you are walking past a bookstore and find yourself drawn to a title, or at Amazon, you find yourself drawn to a title of a book. So there is a sense that we walk in meditation by our own calm state of mind, directing us to anything that our guides and angels want us to know or to bring into our lives that day. It's always good to have a good chakra cleansing. And, there's different ways. You can do that with Reiki. You can do that by um, focusing on your body from your first chakra up to the top. I believe that there are prayers that you can use to ask spirit, angels, and God to clear your body so that you may heal faster. You can also send it long distance so that people that you know or care about, or a war-torn country or whatever is on your mind, you can send that prayer, send that meditation, send that chakra cleaning, send that rose, that mental chakra rose. So anything that you might take part in, even those of you who are skeptical and struggle to remain interested in this, remember that you are struggling because you're having a hard time connecting with your guides and angels and your deeper self, because it's hard for you to reach out for help. Maybe you've been brought up that that's something that's your job. So being called, what is that? Are you being called? Some people will feel drawn to this role. They'll feel a calling towards sharing the messages of angels. As a potential angel messenger, you'll feel connected with your angels, and you'll have had several experiences with the angelic realm. Your intuition guiding you towards the calling, and you'll find that it aligns with your heart's desire. So making sure that you're asking your angels again to align you with the symbols or the journey path that you need for your special calling. So as an angel messenger, you aren't bound by a specific set of rules. The important part of this role is being positive. You should give a persona, give a aura of kindness, honesty, love, and optimism. You will be patient with anyone who comes to you for advice, and you'll reflect that true meaning of any message that has been given to you by angels. It's also important that you follow the advice of your angels. There will be times when a close friend or family member asks for life advice, and you'll feel a certain euphoria, or maybe you'll feel a certain bias towards a specific direction when you're offering them advice. So focus on truth and let your spirit guides and angels direct you to the right option rather than being guided by your personal emotions. Now, I often feel, and I have to laugh a little bit, not laugh. When I was at the Renaissance Fair, I was kind of shocked because my tree was taken by another psychic. And it was kind of hard for my ego to let down and say, okay, I can work around the corner, no big deal, which I did. But when I asked them, how do you read? Well, she says, first of all, I never say I'm a psychic. I said, oh, okay, that's fine. It really doesn't matter what you call yourself because really all that matters is truth and accuracy. And they kind of, well, okay. And that means that whether you are an angel messenger that uses angel cards or an ordinary tarot, or you have used just your gut feelings, all of those are correct as long as you keep your aura open to truth and positive messages from your angels. So that's just a little something I wanted to add there. If you find that somebody appears to be straying from their path, consult your angels. Ask for guidance. Don't take it upon yourself to steer them back in the right direction unless they ask for it. In other words, if you're an angel messenger or a psychic, do not walk up to people and say, oh, I see or feel this. No, that is not correct. It's rude. Because you have a gift does not mean that you have to start reading people out of a crowd that don't ask for it. Oftentimes they'll think you're being just, who are you to tell me that, right? So don't do that. Only guide those who ask you. All right. So that's what I have to say about that. I'm going to go in the room and do a couple of readings, and then I'm going to go into another direction. What is pagan and what is Wiccan? At first, we're going to do two of our readings. So we're going to start with Patrick. He says, hello, Anne-Marie. Can I have a 3-month financial reading? Yes, Patrick, you may. But first, I want to give you a connection reading so that I can be able to get a feel for you. And when I do that, then I will definitely give you a reading on your 3-month financial. So I'm going to say your name 3 times, Patrick, and Patrick, and Patrick. Names have frequencies. For me, I am clairaudient, so if I don't have your name from your mouth, I will say it myself. The first thing that comes up, Patrick, and I don't know why, but it says you're dealing with either someone that is close to you that is not necessarily in agreement with you. They seem to feel a little cold or a little distant to you. And your reading says you're doing your darndest, you're doing your very best to try to take action and be fulfilling in yours and anyone else's um, energy that's in your work environment or that is in your home. You are a person of wonderful frequency, Patrick. I have the star. And the star indicates that you are a standout person. Your reading shows that you went through some kind of unfair times. And by unfair, that can mean you went through a hard time financially. It can mean that you were treated unfairly. Or it can just mean that you felt as if um, you were being kind of in a painted corner that you couldn't get out of. But your reading, I am happy to say, Patrick, says that in the next 2 months, you are going to see amazing balance in November and December. more fulfilling financial calm and increase. And I also see that you have to watch out for naysayers or people who just don't seem happy no matter what. When those people are around us, we just have to move on. And sometimes they're the people we love, which doesn't mean we have to leave them. It just means that we have to say, okay, I tried my best and I'm still trying my best, but I see you're not happy. One of the things it says, Patrick, is you don't want to become a victim of circumstances. And your reading says you have been communicating with some important people financially, maybe job recruiters, or maybe people in your career. You are somebody that is a blessing in whatever job you have. And all you want is to be able to have someone treat you right and recognize that. Lastly, a reading says, again, watch out for ungrateful people or people that bring you down. It's time for you to rise above it and realize you can make everybody happy. That's their choice if they want to have a gray filter. And that's the way I look at it. Let me describe to you what I mean by a gray filter. I met somebody on the line that I was reading for that was wanting a reading on her future. One of the things that came through, though, is that everything I told her and everything enlightening and everything I tried to see positive, she was yelling at me that couldn't happen. She is a victim of her health condition of a sciatic nerve. She wasn't out of bed for 2 years. I said, well, then get somebody to wheel you to a group therapy or to a church and be with like-minded people who can make you happy. Her children were sick of her, and they didn't really want to deal with her gray filter, her negativity. Well, by the time we were done, I felt like her kids. And I really did try my very, very best to make her feel happy. But Patrick, you just have to face it. Sometimes we can't. And that's okay. So here's your 3-month financial, okay? And I didn't mean to go on and on. Yes, I did. I needed to say that. So we're looking at a 3-month financial for you. According to your reading, it said that November and December were going to be great months for you financially. So here's what I have. I have um, October, November, and December. And just like your first reading, it said October is the month where you're kind of coming out of that painted corner where you felt trapped, perhaps, by financial problems. November is seen as the month that you are appreciated and in coordination and in balance financially and with any kind of partner in your life as well as career-wise. December, it says it seems like you're not having to struggle so hard to make finances be consistent. There seems to be a sense of flow. And when I look at January, January is the month of creative potential for you and also a month of possible new beginnings in perhaps a new and better job or just a new beginning in your financial status. And that's what I have. Thank you, Patrick. All right, we have Rebecca. And Rebecca says, hello, can I please have an organic reading? You betcha. So looking at Rebecca, and when I look at Rebecca, so do you see what I did there? Understand that there's always negativity around us. But when you rise above the negativity and you try to see the good and you try to see a more positive picture. For instance, in Patrick's reading, it said the bad stuff was behind, the painted corner was behind, and he was coming out of it. That is that's an angel message because it is also uplifting, positive, truthful. I'm being honest with you. And so that's what that was about. Rebecca, here's what it says, and I want to connect with you. I'm not sure why, but Rebecca, that says there is a secret or something going on in your life that you really don't want to contend with or talk about or even know about. One of the things it says is watch out for a sense of depression in a loved one or maybe in yourself. Have you been feeling anxiety, Rebecca? Because your reading shows that you have been. There is a sense that your feelings got hurt. And I'm shown in the time frame of 3 weeks, 3 months ago, that somebody either did not treat you well or there was a feeling that you became super, super sensitive. But changes are coming, Rebecca, and despair is behind you. And I'm shown that you have to watch out for being around people who are broken, people who bring you down. If this is the kind of people that you tend to be around, then understand that chances are it causes you to feel like you're taking on their problems. So work on that and understand. Refuse to give more than you get back in return. It's an You have to train people how to treat you, Rebecca. Or as I say, sometimes you have to take your bitch pill. And taking your bitch pill just means not being a mean person, but just knowing how to speak your truth in a kind way that nobody's offended, but let them know you have a certain boundary in your life and you're not going to cross it. Your reading says you've been feeling a little cautious, but it's time for you to make a decision. And it says wait no longer than 2 weeks to 2 months. Are you dealing with somebody really negative? How are you dealing with that? Is it a friend? Are you finding yourself just almost breathless trying to do favors and make them happy? Well, stop it. Is it your husband or your partner? If it's your partner, well, you have to learn to take your bitch pill. You have to learn to have boundaries so that you won't find yourself hostile and bitter. And lastly, what comes up, Rebecca, is that you are a sweetheart, and I believe you are working with angels. It is your intention to be a good person, to care about people, and to make people feel better. But remember, Jesus and Buddha could heal the wounded, but they never brought them home to the cave with them. So make sure that you understand that it is your job to not bring people so close that you become an scapegoat for them. Help them, but don't take on their burdens. Okay? That's what I see, Rebecca. All right. Now, I wanted to discuss something that some people are confused about. We went into spiritualism, we went into angel messengers. So, what is the difference of, what are the different, like I was again, at this Renaissance fair, and one person sat down and said, I'm trying to decide whether to be Wicca or pagan. And for most outsiders, pagan is just a single religion. It is also normally seen as the same as Wicca. But the reality is very different from this simplistic view. Neo-pagan traditions tend to be very different from each other. Neo Neo-pagan meaning different forms of pagan religion. Frankly, the details of what exactly each religion is varies all the time within each tradition. So this is part because pagans do not have a strict sense of doctrine like Christians do, or Judaism. Pagan traditions tend to have a general guidelines. And because of that, there is no such thing as orthodox or druid or a heretic witch. That does not mean, however, that there are not common beliefs held by the people in a pagan religion. The ideas are defined kind of like in the same way that Methodists and Catholics and Lutherans are. So when we talk about Wicca, Wicca is probably the best known pagan religion and probably the most misunderstood. Many Wiccans refer to themselves as witches, which has led non-pagans to consider magic and witchcraft with Wicca, although many other pagan traditions practice them. Wicca is known for worshiping a god and goddess and deities. Who this god and goddess are varies from each religion. Some choose two deities from another and such as the Celtic goddess Bridget. Others choose to their honored deities that have become more heavily associated with Wicca, such as the horned green god and triple moon goddess. Some Wiccans also choose to worship figures from the religions for their deity pairs, such as Shiva or Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, because we in Christianity also have pictures on the wall, statues in the church of the deities that we or the saints that we gave special worship and love to for their ability to be saintly. So, what is a druid? Druidism is a pagan religion that seeks to the greatest yearnings of humanity, the order of bards. Druids, a worldwide group dedicated to druidry, defines yearnings as a desire to be fully creative in our lives, to commune deeply with the world of nature, and to gain access to a source of profound wisdom. Thus, the goal of Druidry is wisdom, creativity, and love. And I would say that if I was to be a pagan, which I am not, because I am a non-denominational spiritualist, I would have to say I relate best to being a Druid because of their goal of wisdom, creativity, and love. If you want to study paganism deeply, there are so many religions, and a lot of them are very fascinating. Remember, they were here before Christianity. And Christmas and Christians took on Christmas as a sort of medium between pagans and Christians to honor God. And I feel that there are many, many, many religious holidays that pagans and Christianities have brought together. And there are some religions like Jehovah's Witness or that even prohibit people from celebrating birthdays because they think it's evil. So, you know, we all are brought up on a faith, just like we're all brought up on a political view. And just as we are so curious as to whether someone is a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, it's important to know a long time ago that was how people felt about religions. Are you a Catholic? Are you a Lutheran? So think about that next time um, that you are perhaps uh, making a big deal about a political party and knowing that you basically are persecuting each other the same way that Christians persecuted pagans, or the way that we are now persecuting each other for belief systems. It's just really hasn't changed, has it? The fun part, palm reading. In palm reading, which is so much more simple than memorizing tarot cards, runes, or things like that, it's just the study of the hand. You can go to Amazon and get a book on palm reading for beginners and begin your journey. And as you get more and more complex and detailed, you're also going to run into people who studied from a different book or studied from a different person, and they're going to have different beliefs and ways of palm reading. But there is 3 lines in the hand, and because I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about, I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig. And okay, I'm looking for my little screen so that I can see. Um, okay, so we have Annie's hand, right? If I were reading your hand, I would say, first of all, give me your writing hand. Your writing hand is the hand of the now, your potential for what you have accomplished, what your gifts and blessings are, and what you will do in the future. Understand that palm reading is not like the old days where everybody looked for their death or illness. So when I look at a palm reading or a hand, the first thing I look at is, are you a square palm or are you a long palm? A square palm will be just like that, a little box. When you are a square palm person, you're very organic, very earthy, hard worker, and not afraid to get dirty. If you have a long palm, and as I get older, my palm is changing. It's it's square, but it's got long uh, tendencies. If you have a long palm, that means you're somebody with a great eye for detail. Can sometimes be a little finicky, but you're the person that everybody wants at parties or get-togethers to see the the best way to plan. I always say long palm people are like, they see the world like a movie. They're always looking for the details, the pretty things, the ugly things, the things that don't match. And when you have a long palm, that's a tendency to be that person that I'm going to call it the movie. You're like the director of a movie. You can see all the details. Okay, the first thing I look at is how far do you stretch your thumb out? A person that can really stretch their palm out is here's when it's funny in palm reading. Let's say you're at a party. They're a person that is very gifted at gab. They don't mind telling people about themselves. Unfortunately, when they get a little alcohol in them, sometimes they can talk or gossip, which will get back at them eventually. And then they're going to be very upset that they offended people because they don't know how to shut up a lot of times. Some people have a little bone at the bottom of their thumb. I have that. Let me see if I can get a position. It's a bone that juts out. That's called the used car lot bump. I call that you're a natural con artist. You're somebody that has the timing and the ability to know when to say things to convince people how to see things your way. Now, here's something that you may want to look at. In every wrist, there are going to be lines across it. Look on your palm. Those are called wrist bracelets. And each of those wrist bracelets is 25 years of energy. It isn't the lifespan. If you have 3, that means you're going to be ready to relax at about 75. If you have more, that means you're a go-getter for a long, long time. Here's another thing, and I'll do this. Look on the top part of your palm. That's going to be your top line, and that is your love line. Whoops, get over here. Your love line, mine dips up. When it dips up, that means you're a cuddler. You need someone that's going to cuddle and communicate with you. But some people are straight. And that means that they're their own person. Someone's going to have to accept them for who they are. They're not going to go out and buy outrageous diamonds and Harley Davidsons for the person that they love. They believe a 50-50 teamwork relationship. But the person that dips way up like I do, that's going to be somebody that needs to have a person that is nurturing and cuddly. Now, over on beneath your pointer finger is your headline. It's the middle line. Mine, look at that. My lifeline, or my headline curls all the way down. The more your lifeline or your headline curls down, the more likely you are ADD. That means that if it just curls down a little bit, you get the job done. But if you curve way down, and this is a fun one, do you have the ADD line? Go to a party, say, hey, I can tell if you're ADD or not. And look at their hand. Does it curl down like mine does? Okay, you're talking to a very ADD person. If it's straight across, nope. You're someone that knows how to get the job done and very, very focused. Now remember, this is simplistic beginning stuff. Now if you have your headline or your lifeline, my lifeline and your lifeline will either jut right off your headline, in which case you're somebody that does not jump off the cliff like everybody else. You take your time to make decisions. You're not going to follow the crowd. You're going to do what is right for you. Now, some people, and I'm just going to make a little line here. Let's say this line, the lifeline, and there's a space between them. Then you would tell that poor person, boy, you have been bullheaded ever since you were a little girl. because the more it is open between the middle line and the lifeline, means that that person has been very independent. Nobody could probably ever tell them anything. And so they're very, very, I like to have fun and say, boy, you've been naughty all your life. Or you've been bullheaded all your life. Mine does not do that. Mine goes and connects with my lifeline. But if they don't and they separate, they're you can really have fun and say, boy, you've been naughty, you've been bullheaded all your life. The longer your lifeline is, and please know, lifeline does not necessarily mean a long life, but the deeper the line is, it means they have a good quality life. So a person that's lifeline goes all the way down their hand and around their wrist, that person is likely to be somebody that has an unusually long life. And I come from people that are 90, 100 years old. And that means that you can give them the good word that they're going to be somebody that has a long, deep life where they're going to have a lot of fun. And if it's a shorter line, just say, I see that you are someone, let's say the lifeline stops in the middle of their hand. For gosh sake, that doesn't mean that they're going to die early. It just means that they are somebody that needs to get her done quick, and because they're going to get tired or they're going to get sick of being around people. They're going to want to relax on an island with martinis. They're going to have had it. And remember, the deeper the line is, the more likely they're going to have a good quality fun life. Now, here's what everybody wants to know. On the side of your little finger, okay, it's you're going to have soulmate lines. And here's what it looks like. Wait. So let me see here. It's right on the side of your little finger. And you're going to see them as little tiny lines. And some people have one. See, I have two. That means that I always say, when you're like the Titanic lady and you're zoning away into the light, there will be two people or two entities or two spirits that you have changed your life dramatically. And it doesn't have to be a boyfriend, and it doesn't have to be a girlfriend or a husband. It is my belief that it can be a grandchild, or it can be an adopted child, or it can be a pet. But whatever that animal or that person was, someone that you carry with you as a predominant person of importance in your life. Okay, that will be one thing everybody wants to know about. Now, on the base of your finger line, and it's right here. See, on the base of your line, I put a little line down there. You're going to have little lines that jut up from the base of your little finger. Those are your kids. I always say, hands don't do birth control, but you have potential for. And then I count the little lines that come off the base of the finger. And that will be their potential. Maybe it's only 2, maybe it's 4, or maybe it's 7, but it gets a good laugh. And for me, palm reading should be fun. It should be something that inspires, and honestly, it can go, when you get better and better, each section of your finger will mean something. Each mound underneath your finger will mean something. Each section of your thumb will mean something. Study up on it. The deeper you want to go, the more information you'll find. So, I tell you what, I had a lot of fun today, and I hope that I see you again. Next week, I'd like to discuss how to find soothing colors and how to create a wonderful space for your most balanced life. And that can be the colors, it can be the music, but it will be a way for you, especially if you're a light worker or in a field of spiritualism, how to have wonderful environment to attract the most awesome sessions. And that's what I'll discuss next week. So I want to say goodbye for now. And thank you so much for being with me. I'm going to check one more time to see if there was anybody else in the room. And nope. So I hope that I can have more of you next week. And I'll be back. So um, I want to say one last thing. An angel messenger, a light worker, you can be that person. Stay positive. Bye.
AchieveRadio.com